Hello and welcome. So we are back today, and the last episode we went ahead and we built our little hangar bay, complete with the rooftop doors. And now we need to go ahead and um, make it look good, because right now it's a box. And while I have nothing against boxes, sometimes you want your boxes to look decent. So, as I said, we're going to go ahead and spruce this up, and that's going to be the primary thing that we're going to do this episode. Um, so, how do we want to do that? Now, if we come back here and we look at these, we can see that we went with kind of these bars, and especially once you start putting multiple of them together, I actually kind of like that look. However, when we come on over here, if we were to go ahead and do three wide like we did on those, then right here we're fine, we're fine, we're fine. Oh no, if we try and push this across, we are reducing the size of our entry bay. So I either need to do the wider bars or I need to come up here and kind of do like a little angle. Which, let's see how that looks. Otherwise, let's see here. This is going to be light armor strips. This is going to be half blocks. So we're going to basically be changing out for full blocks all the way down. Okay. So I can do this just by coming on over here and getting a whole bunch of steel plates. Actually, why am I doing this? I can come right in here and do this. There we go. All right. All right. And then we're using the same black here, so let's grab that. All right. And then I want to push this down. There we go. And then do the same thing right here. Alrighty. So now, if I come on down here, 3, 4, 5. All right. And then let's do the same thing on this side. All right. Now I do need to go ahead and push this into the ground some. There we go. So that comes on down, and that black stripe extends into the ground. Over here, we will do the same thing. There we go. Alrighty. Perfect. Alright, now we come on up here to the top. And what we're gonna do here, let's see here. Let's actually swap this out for this. And then I want to push in and then kind of angle around here with half blocks. So, let's see here. Choose the right half blocks. And let's weld this up and see how it looks. All right. Yeah, I can live with that. And then over on this side, we just push it on down. Alrighty. Yeah, don't quite like the look as much, but I do need that opening, and I don't think putting it on the edge is going to look quite right either. So let's go ahead and replicate that on this side now. And all right. I need to come in one. Okay. And I need to adjust this still. Alrighty, so that is going to be it for the exterior greebling. And now we just need to go ahead and worry about some of the interior stuff. Need to eat some food. Alright, so actually, hang on. Let's go ahead and remove this sensor. And I want to go ahead and put some beams out here. Let me get up just in case of puppies while I remember where my beams are. Alright, here we are. Beam block slope. There we go. And then alright. And then I can come on in here and I can put that sensor in, back in right over here. Alright. Alright, so we've got the sensor back. Now the next thing that we need to do is notice how dark it is in here. We need to add some windows and some lighting. So the first bit of lighting that I want to do is I want to put some inset lights around this. And I would also put an inset light here, but that's where I have my Willis duct. Um, I also want to go ahead and add a window here. And let's also look at adding a window here. And one there. So 3 windows to look in, and then we can also look at adding some additional lighting. So if I come on over to my window tab, 2x3 flat, and let me go ahead and drop my steel plates off. All right, so we've got some windows. Do I want to put? Let's look at the outside. See if. Now I've got it kind of bumping out around the door, so I can't really put windows in there. So we'll just keep those 3 windows. Would I want to widen those like I did that one? You know what? Yeah, let's do that. That one's already full width. And now I want to grab this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Oh, wait. Uh, there we go. Putting it on the correct spot does help sometimes. All right. So now that we've got all of that done, let's see here. The next thing that we need to do is add I think some corner lights. We go ahead and just fix some lights in the corner. Get our green window frames. Not that you can really notice.
Energy low.
Alrighty. And then let's also hop on up here, and I want to add a pair of corner lights on each side here. Looks like I can't add anything there. Alright, so now I've got some roof lighting to kind of guide you in, corner lights around there, and then inset lights around that. Alright, so let's go ahead now and wander on back into here. Have a seat. After I recharge my hydrogen.
Energy low.
Yes, I know my energy's low. So why I came in here. Hydrogen tank. There we go. Put all this stuff down. And then we will have a seat. And while we are here, we can now come on into the control panel. Alright, so we can see I've got all of my airtight hangar doors here. Got it named Hangar. Let's rename that to HAR. Alright, so with HAR, now I can go ahead and rename that. Doop, doop. And I will just go ahead and pause this really quick so you don't need to watch. Alright, and I'm back. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we did. So you can see it is kind of dark out here. It looks like I need to finish welding up one little thing. I will get to that in just a moment. But you can see we've got it nice and well lit up in here. I went ahead and did kind of a red light around this. So you can... I need to change the intensity of that. But the rest of the lighting leaves the top of it nice and well lit. The interior is nice and well lit. And then we get here. So let's go ahead and just fiddle with this a little bit. Alright, so I want to come in here to the connector lights. I can lower that, but I can raise the intensity. Nope, that's not what I'm wanting. Let's try again. If I go ahead and just change the color. Yeah, that's more like what I want. So you can come in here, see the red lights, and that's where you want to be docking. Alrighty. Let's see here. Now I need to go ahead and fiddle with the sensor so that way it detects me when I'm coming in and out, and then figure out what I'm going to do about this hangar. So I could go ahead and set it up on a sensor like I have been with this, or the other thing that I could consider doing is doing some sort of broadcast controller. Let's fiddle with the sensor first. Alright, so I want to show on HUD. Let me come on in here, show sensors field of range. Alright, so right now it is a nice big box here. And then if I come out over here, alright, so I want to pull in the sides of this box. So the left extent I can pull into about here. The right extent I can pull into about here. Let's go ahead and just call this 0.5, 0.5. Do I want to do that? Now let's make that wider. 1, 1. All right. Yeah, so now it will detect me when I get to about here. Um, yeah, let's change it to 1.5. There we go. And I can actually change the left extent down a little bit. So, there we go. And it sounds like I've got a puppy problem again. Perfect reason to have windows and doors. All right, so now I want to go ahead and have the sensor pull back. So the front extent needs to come down. And if I come down to here, now let's change that to about 2. And I also don't want it to detect neutrals or enemies, just friendlies. And I also don't need the audible proximity alert. Alright, so that's going to push it out that way. And this is actually about the right extent this way. So that way it detects me as I come up. So then I just kind of need to make it shorter. So the bottom extent I can basically bring all the way down because I just need it to detect me when I come up to here. I don't need it to detect, if I'm hanging out underneath. Hello, bad dog. And then for the top extent, I can bring that down to about 3. So if I bring that down to about 3, it is going to detect me in here. And there we go. Alright, so now all I need to do then is just come on over here and set up the actions. So if I search for, I want the sliding hatch door to be open and closed. There we go. Alright, so I have walked out and now that closes up. Let's go ahead and push that back extent out a little bit more to about 7. So that way if I'm just kind of walking up, it'll start opening as soon as I get here, which is about perfect. Alrighty. So now I can come on in here and find the button, show on HUD. Don't need to show the field of range anymore. And then all that's left is figuring out the doors. Alright, so let's start by going ahead and just closing them. So I want the roof doors, and I want closed. And if you look at the bottom, you see that O2 is high, but it's cold. So when that's fully closed, that should go back to warm as this area. O2 low? Interesting. Ah, I see. So turns out that with this size of a room, a single air vent is not quite enough. Now, I could look at going ahead and shoving a second air vent in, like, say, here. And then if I do that, let's see, right now, that would mean I need to push a T off of here, which is doable. So I need a T and then a corner, and then I can put the air vent in. So let's go ahead and grab that. And I already have the straight down here. Okay. So let's go ahead and break that, and then come on over here. Put the T in. And then I want these straight. And then the corner. And then alright, so we can see the air vent fan right there. And now I've got full O2 again. Perfect. And if I come back in here, I can come on down and find the air vent fan. Um, yep, and the room is at pressure because it's about 90% as the goal. And I probably need to go ahead and find somewhere to go ahead and hook up a few extra air vent intakes. Basically, have an external HVAC unit, if you will, as I continue expanding out, but I will figure that out later. In the meantime, let's just go ahead and put that back in. Though, of note, I could look at putting in like some sort of plumbing over here now if I wanted to hook that up. Alrighty. Um, so if I wanted to go ahead and hush these puppies, where are they? Oh, hello. There we go. Alright. So if I wanted to go ahead and have a action controller that then turns this on, I'm going to need to set up an antenna somewhere. At least I think that's how action controllers work. Well, maybe you guys can learn along with me. Alright, so step one, I need to go ahead and have an antenna. Step two, I need to have the action controller, I believe. Let me find them. Automation, action relay, not action controller. So let's go ahead and grab the action relay. Let's go ahead and grab the antenna. So I could fit a compact antenna in here, or I can stick it outside. I think it makes most sense to stick it outside. And I also think it makes most sense to stick it on top of the residential building. So I stick that right there. Let's go ahead and build that out. Oop, need more radio components. All right. There we go. And now I have an antenna hooked up that my whole base can go ahead and talk to. Then, if I come on back over here, I can go ahead and set up the action relay right here in this corner. All right. And I'm going to accept signals from the owner. I want to set up actions. I want to come to the groups. And I want to go ahead and have this open. Um, let's see here. Have it open if I was. Alright, so with that set up the way it is, I would then send a signal on channel 1. That would then cause that to open, and then I could send a signal on channel 2 to have that closed. Or I can go ahead and set up a pair of timer blocks and have it, or actually event controllers. If I put in an event controller in, when it triggers, if they're open, it would close. If they're closed, it would open. Um, let's be more explicit and just put 2 of these in. There we go. Oh, puppies are back. So I want to name this one Action Relay Open. Is that what happens? And then this one Action Relay Close. Channel 2. Accept signal from owner. Set up actions. Groups. Hangar roof doors closed. And then if I come in here, open, set up actions, hangar roof doors open. And now I need to figure out how to send a signal. Comms. I will be right back. All right, and we are back. So I went ahead and put together this lovely little ship. It is basically a connector, a cockpit, and I stuffed 2 action relays on and an antenna. Basically, I built this thing solely so that way I could test to see how this works, and let's go ahead and pop on in to see what happens. So when I come in here, you will see that there are these 2 action relays. I named them open and close, and then I put them on the bar for send signal for which one. Now, I will note if I come in here, I can go ahead and say take this action relay open, I can do set channel and send signal, to set channel to 1 and send signal, and set channel to 2 and send signal. So I do not actually need two action relays, but I am very talented and, you know, went ahead and did that before I actually read the documents. Anyways, so to make it nice and easy for myself, let's go ahead and just come here. I will look up and I'm going to send the open signal. And as you can see, it is now opening. Ta-da! And now I can send the close signal. And there we go. It is now fully closed. So again, this means that in order to go ahead and have this open and close for any of my ships, I'm going to need one action relay. Two is not needed, just one. I can go ahead and set it up so that way key press one is, or one of the actions is set to channel one and send signal, and the other is set to channel two and send signal. And then I have this here, which is listening to channel one and is accepting signals from the owner. I could set this to faction or everyone, but I'm playing in a single player world, so I'm just setting it from owner. And then when it receives signal one, it is then going to go ahead and open this. I could also go ahead and put some other things in, like have it go ahead and like play a message or something like that. But the visual effect of opening and closing is hopefully more than sufficient. All right. So with that, we have now done a little bit of experimenting, and you can also see I've got the home base antenna going right there. I probably should go ahead and put an antenna on my car too. Anyways, totally different story. Um, so yeah, that is the hangar done. We are nice, well lit. We've got windows. From the inside, it's nice and spacious. The top opens. The door opens on a signal. And then from the outside, uh, we could look at going ahead and adding some extra lighting to like the front. Um, If I wanted to do that, I could probably do some more of that truss lighting that just kind of pops up and then puts that on either side. And that kind of matches with the rest of the truss lighting that I've got going on over here. Worth considering. Um, but other than that, it's looking good. So, if you like this, thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I will see you in the next one.